We've been getting comments for years now, and we've been dreaming about it for years, so we're finally building a real shop for Grind Hard. It's going to be glorious. So in this video, we're gonna tell you all about the plans for the shop, show you what we've done so far. We're gonna do a walk around on every single project and talk about where they're at and what we're doing with them. And we're gonna introduce our new team members, our new Grind Hard crew, and yeah, we're gonna send it. We've even got a few project updates that you haven't even seen yet, so all sorts of exciting stuff. So obviously, this is where the shop's gonna be, in this giant pit of sand that we dug with the skid steer. It's gonna be 30 feet deep and 60 feet wide, so it's gonna be like many times larger than our current shop in square feet, which is exactly what we need. Right here, in front of where we're standing, the front of the shop's gonna be about here-ish, across here. And there'll be a 16-foot wide garage door right here, 16 by 12, so we can get everything into the shop, including ye old fire truck. So this will be the main entrance door for builds. A little farther over in the middle here, we'll have a man door, just so you don't always have to open the garage door, and that'll be kind of lined up with this, you know, walkway, driveway, ramp thing. But there's enough space between all of this that, you know, we could drive something in here, go around, back it in there, or, you know, do donuts around the trees, whatever. There's plenty of options. One of the main reasons we chose this location is that there's already water and power here.
This is how he's been charging the Tesla, guys.
Yeah, we just, you know,
that
plug
box
into
is
the
live.
Yep, it is. Yeah, you know, the sand pit was here, so it was always an ugly spot. I mean, it was great for jumps, but, you know, perfect spot for the shop. And being dug into the hillside like this, it'll be a nice temperature pretty much all year round with minimal heating or cooling. So that's a huge win. And then on this end, I'm not sure exactly the size of the space, but something like 12 feet of the width of the shop here. So from like where I'm at to the wall there, the end wall, there'll be a internal divider wall all the way to the back. And the whole front half of that will be like our lunchroom, editing room, like the clean room of the shop where you go and, you know, aren't covered in dust. You know, we'll have like a couch and whatever, and probably a, you know, sim racing rig and stuff eventually. And so that'll be the front section of this, and then at the very back corner, there'll just be like a bathroom, laundry room thing. Nothing exciting there, but yeah, so this will be like the hangout, lunchroom, office room space, and then the rest is just gonna be wide open fabrication shop. I'm gonna have a couple of windows here on the front wall as well, between the man door and then the end here. Oh, also, on the end, in the hangout room, there's gonna be a 8-foot by 8-foot garage door here. That'll be all glass, so it'll let a lot of light in. And then, like, if we're having a party or just want more open air, we can just open up that garage door and we could park, like, it'd be kind of like, my picture for it is kind of like a showroom almost. So we could park, like, whatever build is shiniest at the moment. We could even drive it in here and park it right there in the middle of that room. And also just to make it future-proof, you know, maybe someday I or somebody else has a really nice car that they want in like a super clean section of the shop. You could just have this be your super clean garage for your Porsche that's never driven, which is obviously not a thing that any of us will ever have. We drive all of our stuff. So yeah, that's the basic layout of the shop. It's gonna be a single pitch roof, so the whole front side will just be, you know, a giant flat wall. There'll be no snow dumped on the front. Obviously that would be really terrible if it was a regular gable roof and all the snow dumped in front where you're trying to be. That'd be bad. So the roof will slope back to about just a couple feet above the ground level back there, actually, to get the roof pitch and the wall heights and everything possible. The front's gonna be almost 20 feet tall, so we're gonna have a ton of headroom in there for a lift, and I don't know where the lift's gonna go yet. That'll kind of have to, I'll figure that out as we start building it, but very exciting. I've been dreaming about a real shop for many, many years before we ever started Grind Hard, and especially in the last year or two as we've been getting more and more projects and more tools and try to build better stuff in the same saddled garage, which, you know, still a good spot to be, but we can do better. So as you all know, those of you that have been following all this time, it's pretty much always just been Edwin and I. We started this together and we've just been doing Grind Hard, just the two of us. And then a couple years ago, we brought our friend Sam in. He was coming up a couple days a week, and that was awesome. He was helping us build stuff and rally, but he's taking his business more seriously and, you know, progressing his career, and also he moved farther away. So sadly, we don't get to see Sam every week anymore, but we got somebody else to fill in his place. We've got our friend Will, and I've known Will since he was very small, because my mom was his teacher when he was a kid, and he grew up just up the road. So we're all neighborhood North Idaho boys here. Yeah, Will's been helping us out. He put together the Banshee for us, helped us restore that, and he's, you know, learning fabrication and helping with all of that. And he also sends Sendy. Sendy is his dream whip, as he says.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I've been working on cars for a while, and I came up here before I was part of the channel quite a bit as well, and just saw all the builds and wanted to be part of it. And so it's super awesome to be able to be in the videos and helping Ethan out a lot and building things like this to give away to you guys and whipping. Like, it's awesome that my job is literally to drive Sendy now. So that's all I could ask for.
That's a send, right?
Yeah,
What?
it's a send. It's a height drop.
Oh, okay.
Not sand.
Nice. I just wasn't sure what you meant.
What's up, guys? You got a little stuff on your thing.
Always.
So up until recently, I've been filming and editing pretty much everything. We've never missed a Friday in like 2 years. So that's been a lot of work, and we finally have some help with that too. So we got Steven. He is our first full-time employee, and he is helping lightening the filming load so we can try to get 2 videos out per week. We're gonna try to do it for the rest of the year, and so far so good. We've been doing it.
So I've known Ethan and Edwin for like, what, 10 years? Like quite a while. I think I met Ethan in college. I met Edwin at a parkour gym, so that explains some of our antics that's going on out here. And yeah, I actually introduced Ethan and Edwin, so there's some kind of world where Grind Hard might not exist if I wasn't around. So that makes me feel pretty good.
You guys all have to thank Steven.
You're welcome, guys. Here we are, building crazy crap.
So Steven and I have been filming parkour videos together like eons before Grind Hard even existed. So we've already been doing a lot of photography and picture stuff together, and when we needed someone to help us out, it was just the obvious choice in every way, because Steven's rowdy, an insanely good photographer.
Yeah,
And-
you guys have been trying to get me out here for a long time. I don't know like why I was so hesitant, because this has been awesome. I mean, we're having a lot of fun. I love operating a camera. That's like 10 years of my background is just photography, so switching over to film wasn't much of a stretch.
You guys have probably noticed the Instagram feed is just like killer now.
Oh yeah, I'm
Last
kind of
couple
running that
weeks.
Insta feed.
And that extra shiny smoke tubing notcher shot from the last Barbie Camper episode, that was a Steven shot. And also the fact that he caught it being set on fire, that was a Steven shot that would never have happened without a Steven, because Edwin always has to do all the editing, so he can't just be there filming like all the time. And Steven was just there getting B-roll of me, you know, welding, and then it just happened to catch on fire at that right moment. So it's one of the perks of having a Steven around
I'm
is
just
that
happy I didn't panic, because a lot of the time I'm like, oh shoot, fire, and like I'll stop recording or something. But I was like, well, Ethan looks like he's got this under control. So, you know, that's how that goes. Oh, well, I look forward to learning how to drive this stuff, because like up until now, I've basically just crashed everything that I've driven, so I just haven't really done that much of it, because I'm like, well, my limits are very clear. Just don't even touch anything with an engine, including like my car. I got a new car, nicest car I've ever had, and was like, oh, I'll put some all-terrain tires on this, and then just drove into a tree. Ethan actually came to my rescue. That was pretty fun. But now I just got to learn how to drive these Power Wheels, because that looks like the most fun thing like to do. That's probably like a life highlight, I think.
since the last garage tour, we've put in some sweet new zip lines on the other side of the house, so we'll go show you that. In the meantime, we've got some sweet new Grind Hard shirts. We finally have official GHPC work shirts, which this one's a little big on me, but you know, I'm a small person. Anyway, so yeah, my house is slowly getting finished. This summer I got most of the window trim on, so maybe next summer after 4 years, I'll finally have siding. Those of you that notice the house are always saying, when is it gonna get siding? I don't know. You know, we've spent so much time building Barbie Jeeps and stuff that I don't have time to side my house, so eventually we'll get there.
The new wind chime is really cool too.
Oh yeah. Made out of exhaust tubing, cam gears, brake rotor, and random other parts of stuff. We got our stack of zipline trolleys.
Oh yeah.
This one's the fastest and best one. I've built a lot of zip lines on this property in all the years that I've lived here, and what I've learned is that for your zip line to be used, it has to be easy to access on both ends, because if you have to climb a tree or a ladder, it's no fun. So this one starts right from the porch, and we just send it.
And it's so cool because it's both sides of this zip line are attached to the house. So we can head over here, start a bonfire in the woods, and then come straight back. And how these work is you just have your trolley with a clip. There's just a climbing carabiner, and then you just run for it. And it gets pretty high over the pond too, which is frozen right now.
Another key feature to a zip line is that the end point needs to be not violent. So I picked this location for the end point because it's got a nice slopey landing, so you can come in at any speed and just kind of slow yourself down.
Just run out of it. Oh, while we're up here, we should show you the new dirt bike obstacle.
Yeah. So this is kind of the bonfire party spot. It's a really cool spot to hang out here in the woods. It's also where a bunch of our dirt bike trails kind of intersect out here. We've got like a hill climb here that we can do with the Power Wheels and dirt bikes. And then this, I have yet to actually hit it because the weather's been crap, but I built this log ride challenge for dirt bikes. So, you know.
Oh, I didn't, for some reason, I didn't even notice that you did this.
That's because I did it afterward.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I had the chainsaw out here the other day and I just made it a little flatter because it was always going to be too slippery.
Yeah.
So.
That's nice.
At least this time of year. In the summer it wouldn't be too bad, but yeah, so you just yeet off of this and then head on down there. So we're gonna do more stuff like this. We love dirt bikes and challenges and whatnot, and there's tons of dead trees out here, so we can make all sorts of cool obstacles.
Oh yeah.
Like the Yeeter Totter that we'll go check out later.
Yeah.
Point is, you come off the zip line, you hang out over here, and now we have 4 zip line trolleys, so like all 4 of us could come hang out here all at once without having to walk over. And then you just walk a few feet up the hill here to this tree with this rather bizarre setup that I made to get up there. It's just a log that was already over here and a few pieces of 2x4 and some screws, but it does the trick without too much effort. And then you can clip into this zip line. This one is longer, much higher above the ground, but also slower. So it's a nice leisurely zip back to the house. Oh, also one of my seat cushions is down at the pond from the windstorm.
Nice.
I'll have to pick that up. This porch also makes for a great launch point for jumps. We'll have to build a suite. We've built snowmobile jumps off of this porch before. We'll have to do that again this winter. You can come in from that side, build up a little snow, and then launch off down the hill. But
Very nice.
Let's check out the inside of the house. We have to lock the dogs in when we zip line because Bjorn gets very angry.
This is Bjorn. This is Fredo.
Frederick, hey, come on. Okay, well, you can stay outside. Go on. And this is my kitchen. And we're gonna have a Mad Max movie night, and I'm gonna cook some fajitas because that's my favorite thing to cook. And I'm gonna cook them with these beautiful knives because this video is sponsored by Kamikoto. I've always been obsessed with sharp knives. This is probably the sharpest knife I've ever used. I've made knives, I've used lots of knives, I've sharpened lots of knives, and this is like outstandingly sharp. I like it. It's just got a nice feel to it too. It's hefty. I hate a flimsy knife, you know? These feel very sturdy. These knives are extremely high quality Japanese steel, and they are insanely sharp. That's the sharpest thing I have ever seen. This is amazing. Japanese steel is just better, apparently. So if you want to get yourself some of these beautiful Japanese steel knives, head over to Kamikoto because they are having a big sale right now, and they're offering Grindhard viewers an extra $50 off whatever you order. So click the link in the description and check it out. Here's the stairs to my bedroom upstairs. I made this out of a piece of 3x3 square tubing and pieces of small gauge railroad track. It took me like a whole day just to cut the railroad track into pieces, but I like how they turned out. They look awesome. And you know, they do the job of stairs. And of course here, bathroom, trim still not finished, but pretty standard bathroom aside from the sink, which I made out of an old cedar stump that I pulled out of the lake, out of a driftwood pile. So it's an upside down cedar stump with an epoxy top, and you know, not your average bathroom sink, but you know, I'm not your average person. I like building really weird stuff. So there's that. Obviously, bathroom, just a bathroom. Oh wait, and there's also this, which is a metal print of my friend Asa jumping this gap in Moab, which you may have seen in one of our older videos that we did, and that is secret medicine cabinet.
Whoa, I didn't even know about that feature.
Yeah, pretty sweet. We have, here we've got some also unfinished. You'll notice a theme here. Everything's unfinished. These are bar stools that I made out of crankshafts. This one is out of a 1961 Willys Jeep engine. So I just used the flywheel, a couple of pistons and connecting rods welded back to back on one of the you know, places where they're supposed to be, and then another random flywheel for the top. And then this one, same basic idea, except this one's made out of the bad crank out of the 2JZ. When we rebuilt that, we ended up with one crank that was not great. So it makes a perfect bar stool. It's a little sharp at the moment, so I need to make proper tops for both of them, but I think they fit the aesthetic in here. And then, you know, the downstairs is basically just one big room. Upstairs, just a bedroom. The whole house is only 700 square feet, but I've made it feel fairly open and spacious given the limitations on size. And here we have the guest bedroom. Everybody loves it. It's a cool spot to hang out, cool spot to sleep. And it's a way to get an extra bedroom in a tiny little house without making it seem crowded. And you know, we've also got the pull-up bar. I made that for my girlfriend actually. She wanted a pull-up bar, so I made one that's removable. You can put it on whichever side you want. Here we've got the climbing hold training thing, hangboard is what it's called. And on into the kitchen, sink, refrigerator, the usual stuff, except for the door pulls on all my cabinets are bearing caps. So all of these little ones are 2JZ cam bearing caps. The door handles on all of the big doors here, these are off the 2JZ engine as well, and these are connecting rod bearing caps. To complete that, we've got the paper towel holder here made out of the cam chain and gears from that same 1961 Willys Jeep engine with a transmission shaft from the Kawasaki Brute Force 750. So a bunch of interesting little pieces of engine in here, and there'll only be more in the future. And then all the lights in the kitchen are various things that I've found or accumulated over the years. These are obviously power line insulators from, you know, many years ago that I drilled out and put light bulbs in. And then the rest of the ones in the kitchen here, well, that one's falling apart because I didn't do it very well. These are all mason jar lights. There's a little mug here over the sink. Just a bunch of little, you know, interesting touches here in the kitchen. The bar here is a 3-inch thick slab of Osage orange wood that a friend of mine brought back from the East Coast. That took a couple days to make the bar and have it fit around the tree here, nice and tight. That was quite a process. And yeah, this is a cedar tree from the property here that was out in the woods and grew in a very bizarre shape. So I use it as a post to hold up the main beam here in the house. And underneath it here, I have this kind of accent wall of bits of recycled wood. And like every little board in here has a story. A lot of them are boards from the parts of the house that I tore down when I remodeled it, which is most of it. I pretty much built a new house in the place of the old one. So like this one here on the bottom that's like the footrest for the bar is one of the posts that used to be in the wall where that door is now. And then yeah, little bits and pieces of wood from all over the place. I like repurposing things, obviously. And yeah, there's a cool little feature to the bar top. There's a few imperfections in the wood that I filled in with epoxy. And I put glow-in-the-dark pigment in the epoxy. So when you turn off all the lights, the bar has a little streaks of glow-in-the-dark in it. Believe it or not, this is the Banshee that we bought for $500 and we completely restored it. It is beautiful now, has some sweet Fox shocks and new plastics and everything. We've got some brand new Wiseco pistons on the way to get it a little bit more compression and send juice. And we are giving it away. So go check that on our website. You know, $5 in merch gets you an entry to win this Banshee. It's pretty sweet. And if you want to see the video of it being restored, that's on the channel as well, of course. And yeah, it's going to be sad to see it go when we give it away, but somebody else will appreciate it much more kindly than we will. Yeah, it'll be fun to see it go to somebody who can really love it the way it should be loved. So, cop car, this was Sam's first Power Wheels build, and sadly, probably his only Power Wheels build. It was kind of, you know, we did it as a tutorial series, as like a as basic as you can build it Power Wheels. It's got the engine from the original Barbie car in it. Right now it just needs a fuel pump, and then it'll be back to sending. It's got no suspension or anything, just a basic go-kart with a Power Wheels body, basically. But sometimes the simplest ones are the most fun, because you can just you know, rip around in it and not have to worry about much. It's super lightweight. I mean,
yeah. Tends to be reliable too, even though it's not working now.
Right, yeah, it was just a fuel pump that was cheap parts, so.
All three of those fuel pumps died on the same day.
And for some updates that you guys haven't even seen yet, we've made some mad progress on the fire truck. And removed, well, everything that makes it a fire truck so that we can make it a sweet flatbed toy hauler. So obviously you can see the vision here is flatbed all the way across here, all the way up to here, so we can fit all of the toys on here and then all the compartments for all of the tools. So that video will be coming out very soon, and it'll be a good one. Check it out. Comment
below what engine we should put in this thing, because we really don't know yet.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. What should we put in it? Should we do like a 12-valve Cummins? Should we do Duramax? Should we do like the new Chevy 632 big block, 1,000 horsepower gasoline V8? That one wouldn't really be practical, but it'd be really cool. Yeah, and you know, also if you know an engine builder that wants to work with us and help us put a sweet engine in it, also comment that. Because yeah, this thing needs a more modern engine and transmission so that we can actually use it to go pick up future projects and take our projects to places, and like we could run a whole merch booth out of it at events like Gambler and Mountain Mafia and Havoc and all of that stuff. Just like the work on this will start up again in the spring, that's when we'll be getting the new shop going as well. We'll be pouring concrete, making foundations in the spring, and then hopefully next summer we'll have a shiny new shop with lots of space for even more insanity. good old Cinderella, the Princess Jeep. You know, this is probably the most iconic build of our entire channel. You know, we've spent a lot of time on it. We've done a lot of things with it, and it just keeps going because we just keep fixing it. We supercharged it, blew it up, put a different engine in it, fixed the front suspension, beefed up the rear suspension. You know, it's pretty much just where it's gonna be. You know, it's finished, it's decent, it's good. We could make a better one, but you know, this one's just the OG Barbie Jeep. And the 2J mower is getting its battery charged right now because all of our batteries are dead all of the time. No, but the next step for this thing is a real seat so that we can actually sit in it without bouncing out, and then some sort of a roll bar for aesthetics as well as safety. And also a big step is proper tires. These we just put on here because they look really cool and we had them, but they make absolutely no sense for the build. It's not a four-wheel drive. It's not really meant to be an off-road car. I mean, it can be, but the vision is some really fat tires on the back. They're like probably almost as big as these, just a little bit smaller in diameter and super wide, and then some smaller, skinnier tires up front so that it looks a little more tractor-y. And then other than that, of course, we have to get it dyno tuned. Right now it's just really basic, just starts up and runs tuned, because we've just been busy and haven't had time to get back to this and work on it. So that will all happen sometime in the near future. And then we'll have to take it autocrossing and drag racing and stuff, whatever we can get away with. And of course, the good old Ute, the BMW Ute, got some love recently in the form of some beautiful Corbeau seats. It's pretty awesome. We broke a rear axle again already because we're stupid. Future upgrades for this at some point. Right now it works great, so we don't, you know, we can just drive it once we put a new axle in it. But future upgrades, we do want to work on the front suspension. It's pretty, well, stock. So a little bit better suspension, and this thing will just be a perfect rally machine. On its roof, we have our little world's smallest snow bike that we built last winter. That thing is totally fine, except for the fact that we broke the Kickstarter off of it last time we used it. So other than that, it's basically ready to go, and we'll have to put the ski back on the front for this winter here very soon. We'll be getting snow, and that thing's just a blast to rally around the yard. Obviously, it's not really a out in the woods adventure machine. With that teeny tiny track, you couldn't really get very far, but we will take it out in the up in the mountains somehow or other and rally it this winter for sure. Of course, we have the 13B rotary Mazda Wankel engine powered drift trike of insanity chopper thing. And it is awesome, but the engine needs some help. So we're trying to figure out what to do there. We might just rebuild it. Somebody might be helping us out with that. We're not really sure. So we're waiting on engine stuff because it was very sad when we got it, and we made it more sad by revving it too much, because that's what you do with rotaries. It needs a bit of engine work, and then other than that, it's like kind of almost there. It just needs a little bit, you know, a few odds and ends here, and then of course to be torn down and painted. But it's really mostly finished, except for the engine needs to run a little bit better, of course. This thing is a blast. It's a monster, and it's super fun to just cruise around on. If you didn't watch our giant teeter-totter in the woods video, you should, because in that we broke a tie rod on this, and so it is sitting here a bit broken at the moment. Super simple fix, that's all that's wrong with it. Just need to make a new tie rod, and other than that, this thing's a beast. Future plans for it, I want to put slightly smaller front tires on it because these are just kind of overkill heavy and beefy for it being rear-wheel drive. So smaller tires up front to make the steering a little bit lighter, and in the back we obviously have the single tire that can go on this swing arm because we built it as a trike in the first place. And then right now it's set up just on a quad axle on the same swing arm with whatever random tires we had, which happened to be paddle tires. So I want to also build a new swing arm that's slightly shorter, so we can have two setups. We can have the trike setup and the quad setup with two different swing arms. So the quad swing arm will just be just a few inches shorter. It just doesn't need to be this long. It needed to be this long for the trike to clear the tire, but when the tires are outside, it doesn't need that. So new swing arm that is the proper offset, because this one's kind of like way off to one side. This thing is an absolute monster. It has more power than anyone knows what to do with. So we need to get it properly sending and take it to the dunes, because that's where it'll really shine. So the Camaro here is, we're gonna get into the shop sometime this winter and do a bunch of work on it and upgrade it. As you can see, the steering wheel is off of it right now. We borrowed it just as a placeholder on the Barbie camper. And also it needs a new steering wheel anyway, because that one was trash. Upgrades are gonna include getting rid of these stupid paddle shifters. Seemed like a good idea, not practical. So get rid of that. And then beef up and redo the front suspension a little bit so that we have a little bit more travel and it's a little bit wider for stability. And then also fix the steering, because the steering's always been terrible on it. So basically just make it a little bit wider, a little bit more suspension, and fix all the little issues. We kind of built it as an on and or off-road build, but we don't really have a lot of roads around here, so I'm just going to work on making it better for off-road so that we can actually enjoy it, because we're never really going to have a lot of time to go rally on pavement. And of course, our latest and greatest, the Barbie camper. Barbie Dream Camper, Overland, Power Wheels, Monster Truck. It's got a lot of names because it's a lot of things, and it's a lot of awesome. Right now we've got the little tiny electric chainsaw pocket bike on top of it, just because that looks cool. And we're gonna build a roof rack for it probably very soon, and then actually have a spot to carry this up there, because when you have a Barbie camper and you have a hot pink pocket bike, you gotta carry one on top of the other. And then also coming up soon, we have a really exciting new project that'll be eventually towed behind this on a trailer to water. That's all I'm gonna say, but it's gonna be really good. And of course, Colonel Senders is really good in every way, except that we broke the drive shaft on the teeter-totter video. That was a video where we broke a lot of stuff. Here, I'll pull this cover off so we can see how broken it is. So this just needs to get in to the shop and be fixed, which is kind of gonna be a pain, because the part that broke is this drive shaft yoke here that is welded to the shaft inside of this chain case. So gotta take all of that apart and then, you know, fix all of that. But relatively minor fix, just, you know, will take some time, which, you know, we're always busy. So we'll get to that as soon as possible, because this thing needs to be back on the road. Until we get the new shop done, we're still stuck in this tiny little shop, which for reference is less than 20 by 20 feet. So that's about 400 square feet versus 30 by 60 is 30 by 60 is 1,800 square feet. So more than 3 times the size for the new shop. And wait, is that right? I'm too tired to math. 12, 16, more than 4 times the size. Yeah, okay.
We're getting somewhere.
We're getting somewhere. This shop is only about 400 square feet. The new one is 1,800 square feet, so more than 4 times the square footage, which is awesome. But until then, this is what we got. And I have done some upgrades. You've probably seen them in the background, obviously. The biggest upgrade we got here is our new mill. I've never had a mill before, never really used one until we got this. a 1979 Enco mill.
Oh. There we go.
And it's a 3-phase, I think it's a 2 horsepower, 1 horsepower motor? I don't know. The point is it's 3-phase power, which we don't have up here. So it has a crazy phase converter system. So to run the mill, we've got this box here with a button to power on the phase converter, which you can hear running over in the corner. And I think this is a really old school setup, but it works. And the way it works is this box here, we've got all sorts of electrical boxes here. So this box has a bunch of capacitors and stuff, which create a 3rd phase of power and fire up this gigantic old motor in the corner that's just sitting there. And that is a 3-phase motor as well. So this box creates a 3rd phase to start it. And then once it's running, it'll run on 2 phases. And then somehow, that I don't fully understand because I'm not an electrical engineer or even an electrician, that motor sitting there generates an extra phase of power to run the 3-phase motor on the mill. So, huge upgrade for the shop having a mill around. Obviously, I need to learn how to use it more, and as I learn how to use it, I will come up with more ways to use it. That's what I found with all the tools we get. Whenever we get a new tool, at first I'm like, oh, it's good for this thing, and then I learn how to use it more and figure out all sorts of ways to use it for other stuff that I didn't even know I needed. Of course, we have our old lathe over here, which kind of really goes well with the old green machines theme in the shop. And I like having these all kind of in a row here, so I'll probably arrange them similarly in the new shop. There'll just be a lot more space, which will be really nice. And then of course we've got our Ameribraid belt grinders here in the corner. This one's got a 220 volt motor, variable speed, and that one I use for obviously all the flat stuff. And then this one's got a 110 volt variable speed motor, which I have set up for tubing notching. Obviously you can set them up separately, but we're lucky enough to have 2, so it's really handy having one for tube notching and one for everything else. This part of the shop I rearranged completely when we brought the mill in. The Piranha, that's this thing, it's a giant old iron worker machine that chops through steel like butter. It used to be 90 degrees where those are, and those were here. But I rearranged all this to give a little bit of extra space for the mill, and also this was just a better layout in general. Putting it up against this wall made it easier to access the punch end of it, and just makes for overall better space in the shop. Of course, we got our welding table, welding fab general purpose table that holds all of the stuff. And that will of course be in the new shop, but we'll have so much more space that we'll probably have a couple of tables. We'll have this one that's, you know, got the welders on it, and then we'll have like an actual fab table. This time of year, the trusty wood stove to keep our fingers and toes from getting frostbitten. Even though this shop is essentially completely uninsulated, this thing keeps it nice and toasty, even on the cold days. And we've got our melted little cheap plastic box fan back here to get some airflow going on, move that warm air to the other end of the shop. This is the camera editing corner of the shop, Edwin and Steven's corner. Steven wants to do a little bit of a reorganize on that.
Oh yeah,
soon.
we need a full rearrange of this thing.
And also get all the wood chips out of the drawers. And the Barbies in there.
Well, the Barbies can stay. That's part of it now.
It'll be really nice to have all of that stuff not in the same filthy room as all of the fabrication going on, so that all the camera gear stays less dusty, because dust is not a good thing to have in your cameras. And also, that means more space in the shop, portion of the new shop, for shop things. We're gonna have an editing station in the cleaner room in the new shop, and the rest of it will have more space for everything else. Like, you know, a new place for our sweet road fab tubing bender, because this thing's constantly getting moved around the shop here, depending on, you know, what we're working on. Obviously, a feature that will have to be transferred over to the new shop is the toolbox full of random bolts. Because, you know, that's a necessity. When you take things apart and build new things, you gotta save all of the bolts. I like to call it bonus bolts. When we order like a used part for something and it comes with extra bolts that we already had, I call them bonus bolts. Or when, you know, you're taking apart a project and there's a bunch of things you don't need and you got extra bolts, bonus bolts. In the new shop, we might even be able to get a bigger toolbox for bonus bolts, because more bolts means more things being bolted together, which is most of what we do. Over here, hiding under the bench, we have the old 2JZ block that has a chunk broken off of it. And for the new shop in the lunchroom, I want to make a coffee table out of that. So that'll be a cool little feature for the new shop.
Where's all the plumbing parts?
Good question. There are probably some plumbing parts in here. We do have some plumbing tools. Oh, I bent this one working on the fire truck the other day, so I'm a good plumber, bending my pipe wrenches. Another feature of this shop that will definitely have to be transferred over to the new one is the wall of destruction. All the parts that we kill when we send it too hard. You know, we've got the piston and crankshaft from when we blew up the engine in Cinderella. We've got various other parts from that same blown up engine, and you know, bent suspension pieces over here. The new shop will have more room for this. We can have a bigger wall of destruction for more destruction. You know, we've got our shiny gold million subscribers plaque here just hanging out on the wall, along with the cutout from the Tesla hood that we all signed over at Rich Rebuilds when we started the Tesla project. So that's kind of a cool little, you know, souvenir. And of course, one of our very own Grind Hard Plumbing Company garage banners. Oh, also I added this shelf here recently for shorter pieces of metal stock, because I had all these little pieces that didn't fit on the big shelf because there's no space for them, or nothing to hold them up, so I made like a shorter version. And this, I also made these little, they're just made out of scrap metal, but these brackets can also be transferred to the new shop if so desired. Of course, we've got all of our infamous street signs hanging out around the shop. We get those from the scrapyard. They just have, you know, old street signs in their aluminum scrap pile sometimes, so we always pick up a few when we're there. And that's gonna have to be a feature in the new shop, obviously. Hang them on the walls until we use them for projects. And once the new shop is built, obviously this shop is gonna still be here, so, you know, we'll still use it. Obviously all the fabrication and stuff will happen in the new shop because it'll be better set up, but this one will probably be more for storage. We can park the Power Wheels in here. I can maybe have a place to store my snow bikes. Yeah, so it'll still be here. We're not gonna tear it down anytime soon. Eventually, my long-term goal is I wanna, like, ideally, years in the future, tear it down and build a new shop in its place that's more of a garage rather than a shop, just, you know, so I can someday have a nice car and park it in here. I hear that's what you do as an adult. You have a garage and you park your car in it. No, actually, you have a garage and you don't park your car in it. You just fill it with stuff and then park your car in the driveway. Or, you know, if we really have a bunch of projects going all at once, we can have a project going on in here and a project in the other shop if we really need the space. So it'll be handy to have both. And we're always making improvements to our trails and racetracks out here. So if you didn't catch the video on it, we built this gigantic teeter-totter out here in the middle of the forest for driving the Power Wheels and dirt bikes and all of the other smaller things over. It's a ton of fun, and now we want to build one that's even bigger for like the Tesla and full-size vehicles, because it was a lot of fun building it, and it's a lot of fun to use it. So we call it the Yeeter Totter, and it's a yeeter.
Now we got enough weight so it just always returns. So if you're doing laps with the guys, everyone can hit it.
Yep. Yeah, we had to add a few boards on the other end to get it to always go down to that side, because obviously it'd suck if it stayed halfway in the middle.
It's a giant.
Yeah, I mean, you can see.
Yeah.
It's well above the reach of my hand, so it's like, I don't know, 8-9 feet up there.
It's one of the most fun recent additions.
Yep.
And this berm's starting to dig in a little bit.
Yeah, we'll all the extra sand from digging out the shop will eventually, probably in the spring now because everything's frozen, but we'll bring a bunch more sand out here and build up this berm and a bunch of other berms because we just have piles and piles of sand from digging the shop hole. So it works well for berms. And over here, I found this when when I was working on the yeeter totter out here. I found it years ago when I was a kid, but I'd completely forgotten about it. There's the front half of some old vehicle just chilling here because this corner of my property used to be like a parking lot for back when the road used to be really terrible before I moved here. But the roads used to always get so muddy in the spring nobody could drive, so they just all park at the end of basically the end of my driveway here. And so
I didn't know that.
yeah,
Is
it's
that why
actually
they're so clear cut
yeah.
right there?
Actually, on maps, that's a cul-de-sac. Like on the plot map for this, it's actually a subdivision. Mine is like the last lot in the subdivision. It's like legally a subdivision, and this is legally a cul-de-sac. That little clearing there at the end of the driveway. So people used to park all their vehicles there and then drive their four-wheelers and stuff up the road when it was too muddy. So I assume
This one never made it home.
yeah, I guess. I don't know why or how, but it has, it's the front half, obviously. It's independent, like, double A-arm suspension with a 6-bolt lug pattern. So I really have no idea what it is, but my best guess is it was probably like a little Datsun or Nissan pickup truck. Because also, I'm guessing that because that's what all my neighbors used to drive. There used to be a ton of little old Datsuns and Nissans up here just, you know, mobbing up and down the road, getting destroyed by the potholes. So that's my best guess. But if you recognize it, tell us what it is because we have no idea. It's scrap metal, that's what it is. Or we'll hang it on the wall in the new shop or something. Could be interesting. We'll go check out the tabletop jump too. I don't know, you may or may not have seen it. We did a video on building it. And, obviously it's appeared in other videos. Most recently, the Banshee video. We jumped the Banshee over the tabletop. It's our biggest jump, and we need to build more because jumps are awesome. And now we have a bunch of sand. Sand doesn't make the best jumps, but if you mix it with a little bit of mud here and there, you can get a good surface. So, yeah, this is the giant tabletop jump in the middle of the woods. The mixture of sand and mud has worked out really well, and the lip of the jump has stayed nice and solid, but it's about a 30-foot tabletop from lip to middle of the landing. I overshot it once in the kernel and cleared 46 feet. That was exciting. And over here we spray painted some lines on this tree so that you can see how high you're jumping, from the vantage point of a camera. Obviously, when you're in the air, you don't have time to look at this tree, but yeah, it's part of our longer rally track circuit, which we're going to keep improving as we, have time. And now that we have giant piles of sand, that's what this jump was built out of, is sand and dirt from the shop excavation process. So now that we have more sand available, we can build more berms and more jumps and, just keep making the most awesome backyard racetrack ever. So this is another part of the rally track that got some major upgrades with all the shop sand. As you can see, this is all sand now. It used to be pure mud. So come spring, when it gets all muddy again, the sand and mud will mix and we'll have a really nice surface. Plus it helped cover up all the roots. Although we had a windstorm the other day and a bunch of trees came down. This is just the topple one, but this one, of course, fell down. And then these two right here came down.
Man, it's a good thing they went that way. The treehouse is like right there.
Yep. So, yeah, we got a little bit of maintenance to do out here, but, more teeter-totter material. We could build a nice, sizable teeter-totter with those logs. Yeah. Or a jump, or a wall ride. I think before we build another teeter-totter, we got to build like a wooden banked corner that's like fully vertical, so you can just whoop!
Yes, old wall ride.
That's the next one.
That'd be super fun with the pit bikes.
Yeah, for sure. We could build it like on this corner back here, or there might be a better corner, we'll see, but we got to do one of those for sure.
So lumber has brought itself down for free.
Yup. And of course the old tree houses. We have videos of these from years ago on the channel if you want to check them out. But yeah, that's the property and the shop and the house and all of the stuff This corner got mad upgrades with all of the sand from the shop, largely because it's right next to the shop. If you look over there, you can see the sand that I piled up around the backside of the shop hole, and this is right here. So this is being the closest, one of the closest corners, it got the most sand put in because it was the least distance to carry it, but it's way better than it ever was before, both for large and small vehicles. So we'll just keep doing the upgrades. Here's the other treehouse next to the junkyard slash, you know, parking lot, park pile thing. Oh, and the Tacoma, we didn't talk about the Tacoma because it wasn't in the sand pit with everything else. But the old Crunchy Taco needs some love. We last time we drove it like a year ago, we shut it off and the next day it wouldn't start at all. Crank, no start. So we gotta figure that out. We'll probably have Will work on that one of these days because it's a beast and we gotta get it back in operation. And then, you know, we'd like to make it a little bit better, either beef up the front suspension or probably solid axle swap it, make it a little bit more of a crawler. But you know, it's one of the very first builds we ever did, so gotta show it some love one of these days.
Yeah, it's so nice being able to zip line just back and forth and not have to climb trees and get out of trees and slam into trees like the old zip lines. So this is a really fun send. Uh-oh. Oh God.
Oh shit.
How'd you manage that?
I think it's not on all the way. Uh-oh. Oh God.
Oh shoot.
How'd you manage that?
I think it's not on all the way.
Shoot!
Dude, which way's closer? I think I should go backwards, huh?
It's gonna be easier to go forward.
Oh, this sucks.
Let me go grab a rope that I can toss and pull you in.
All right. Oh, this has happened to me before. My trolley isn't on all the way. Otherwise, I'm not gonna be able to hang on long enough. Oh, it slipped off the second I got on. Gonna be able to hang on long enough. Oh, it slipped off the second I got on.
Ed, you need to work on your zipline skills. Why does this always happen to you?
I don't know. I got it back on the wheels though.
That's something.
I think right as I jumped too far and one of the wheels came off. Oh, this isn't as bad as I thought.
Yeah, here.
Yeah.
Ed, you need to work on your zipline skills. Why does this always happen to you?
I don't know. I got it back on the wheels though.
That's something.
I think right as I jumped too far and one of the wheels came off. Oh, this isn't as bad as I thought.
Yeah, here.
Yeah. Oh, that was way better than last time. Yeah. Oh, that was way better than last time. Last time I was stuck up there for a while.
Yeah, that one,
Yeah, my wheel was like, I don't know how it even fit, but this one was completely off somehow.
yeah, that one you have to, it's a little weird because of the platform you're standing on. You have to double check that you're on straight
Yeah,
before you launch, because if you launch it all crooked, it'll just...
I think that's what happened, and I
Yeah.
think I pushed this to the side.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't normally happen.
Yeah, that's actually the first time that's happened to anyone on that zip line.
Well, that was awesome.
It's always a first for everything.
First for everything. I haven't done that
Yeah,
one yet, though.
I've also fallen off this zip line. That was fun. Into this hillside down there.